What's up, guys? Welcome to Business LDS. It's Mr. Zero here, and we got Quackers with us. Make sure to like and subscribe and smash that comment section and eviscerate my Snapchat. And what else do you do on YouTube? TikTok. Yeah, retweet my TikTok. Oh, and hers too. Who are you?
Why would you do this?
What? Play Super Metroid? It's a great game.
Why would you introduce a video like that?
Well, what can you say about Super Metroid that hasn't already been said? By the way, we're gonna. Oh, no, we're not gonna start a new save file because I forgot I remapped the controls. Well, that's what all the cool hip kids are doing these days. We need to attract a hip young audience.
The last Metroid is in captivity. The galaxy.
Would you like to introduce yourself again and slow down this time?
Oh yeah, I'm Mr. Zero, and this is my main bitch Quack.
Hi, I am the Professor of Quackery.
Oh
also
yeah, I
known
forgot
as
you're a
Quack,
professor.
Or the... Yes, or the Burb Lady.
Burb Lady.
Mhm.
I don't think anyone's ever called you that.
Well, it's what I call myself in a couple of Discord servers, so close enough.
Ooh, fancy city girl's got herself a few Discord servers. La-dee-da.
I've seen how many you're in. You've got way more servers than I do.
Oh yeah, but half of them are full of the same twats. I mean, no.
To be fair,
They're
most
great
of the ones I'm
twats.
in are dead.
Oh yeah, this is actually recapping the previous two Metroid games. That was the ending of Metroid 2. Available on Game Boy and 3DS. Have you ever played a Metroid game before?
A little bit. I'd gotten the 3DS on release, so I was getting the Ambassador program, and I believe
Oh.
it was...
Don't get me started on the Ambassador program. I have a story. Alright, now.
I believe it was the first Metroid was part of it. I can't remember if the second one was, but I played a bit of the first one.
The second one wouldn't, because it was all NES games.
Well, there you go then.
Yeah, well, the first Metroid on NES is not aged all that well. This is probably the Super Metroid, despite being the third Metroid game in the series, is probably the one that's held up the most well. But let me tell you a story of that Ambassador Award, alright? And it ain't.
I'm quite fond of its visuals so far.
Let me finish. Now gather around the campfire, kids, because this is a story. Now, be me. Be 13. Get 3DS on release. Full price. Now, imagine hearing you're gonna get that Ambassador program. Now also imagine your 3DS breaking.
Oh no.
That's what it is to be
I
me.
remember you telling me about this now.
It
Oh no.
was horrible. The only game I actually ended up getting for free was Kid Icarus. Oh yeah, check this out. Rare example of blood in a SNES game.
Kid Icarus wasn't part of the Ambassador program, was it?
Was it not? I assume
I
it would
don't
have been.
believe it was.
It's one of the all-time classics.
Then again, it's been a long time since I looked at the games on the Ambassador program.
Oh
and I
yeah,
don't
this is
think
the
I
old
was
mini
really
Metroid we saved
aware
at
of
the.
Kid Icarus
This is the old mini
until
Metroid we.
Uprising. Well, that's not true. I was aware of it after when Brawl came out.
If you're wondering why I'm taking so much damage, it's because this is a made-to-lose fight, and Ridley will fly away the moment you take enough damage.
Well, see you, Ridley.
I quite like this game. It fulfills all of my requirements for a great game. Non-linear explore. Although, would you describe these games as non-linear? Because these days the definition tends to get thrown around a lot. Because it's not non-linear in the same sense as
I suppose
something
in
like
terms
Mad
of
Max
map design
or
it would be.
GTA. I don't know why Mad Max was my example, but
I feel like probably in terms of the map design it might be, since, you know, you'd have to backtrack to places, but...
there we are, I was determined to wall jump that. Yeah, also there's these really annoying bits of Steam that just shoot out at random places, and it doesn't do any damage to you if you get hit by them, but it still bounces you back as if you did take damage, and it's very annoying.
You did it. You beat the game.
Yeah, I suppose these days these games would sort of be a semi-linear experience. They're sort of just open world action adventures, I'd consider them. Honestly, it's my favourite kind of video game. I like the ones where you explore sort of miniature worlds in a non-linear way, get power-ups that boost your arsenal, and in ways that you quite never expect. Because my first Metroid game was, I think, the Zero mission on the Game Boy, a Game Boy Advance. And some of the power-ups you got in that were insane towards the end. And the same applies to this game. You see this jump I'm doing here?
Yes.
I'm going to get an ability that lets me jump twice as high. And then I'm going to get another ability that makes me jump infinitely. And then I'm going to get another power that makes me jump infinitely and do damage while I'm jumping.
Is this where they got the idea for Sanji double jumping?
For who?
Do you not remember that? It was ages ago, I think, just before the time skip, and to escape all the drag queens, he learned to double jump.
Wait. Oh, Sanji in One Piece. I didn't know what you were talking about there. What?
Yeah, that was before it got weird. Well, that's
Before
very
One Piece got
difficult
weird,
to
that's not
quantify.
something you hear every day.
I would say it got weirder after the
Time skip.
after the time skip, yeah. I still think that the villains in the mermaid area should have just died of overdosing.
How far have you got on One Piece? Oh wait, yeah, wait.
I stopped around the Dressrosa arc because at that point I was
That
watching
arc
the episodes.
went on forever.
Yeah, I was watching the episodes as they came out at that point, and I just got really sick of it, especially with how the crew was all separated, so it was just going between different things happening, and that just... It wasn't fun.
Man, I can't believe I want to attempt to speedrun this game. Look how bad I am. If I was a speedrunner, I think I'd have beaten Ridley by now. I am going to attempt a sequence break in this though, so don't expect me to just get on with the game. I kind of want to test some stuff, because, okay, one thing about Super Metroid that I think makes it a cut above the rest when it comes to most Metroidvanias is that there's a lot of hidden stuff you can do from the get-go that the game doesn't tell you. The most important of which is probably the wall jump, because you can jump off walls like that. But it's actually deceptively difficult to do, because you have to jump against the wall, and then you have to press back away and then jump. You can't do both at the same time. But the thing is, you have an extremely small window from when you press away and then do the jump, and it depends on how close you are to the wall. You'll either have 2 frames to do it, or up to a maximum
That seems unnecessarily elaborate.
up to a maximum of 10 frames. Well, the thing is that it's never actually required in the game. There is, well, unless you get yourself trapped in that area where it teaches you to do it, there is literally no point in the game that actually forces you to do it. Also, I find it interesting that these heads react to you wall jumping off of them, because, like, look, I shoot it all day long, and I tested this with missiles earlier, but I wall jump off of it and it rattles.
Shoot them all you want, but if you dare jump off of them...
Have you ever played any Metroidvanias?
I don't believe so. I mean, I said earlier that I played a little bit of the first one with the Ambassador program.
Yeah.
You said before, didn't you, that that one didn't age well? Do you think I would have more fun with,
This one?
This one.
Absolutely.
Well then, I'll have to try it out at some point.
This one's amazing. It's probably one of my favourites. I mean, Hollow Knight's my all-time favourite. There's absolutely no questions asked there, and I don't think many people would disagree with you.
I need to go back to No, I'm thinking of Shovel Knight. I've definitely seen gameplay of Hollow Knight. I do like the art style of it. I think it looks very fun.
It looks very cutesy Halloweeny.
That too. I really like the character designs though.
Because they're all cutesy and Halloweeny, and they're all after little buggy bugs. And we all know that birds eat bugs.
I feel like they're kind of...
Especially those that quack.
almost Tim Burton-ish.
I knew you were going to say that.
Like,
oh yeah, actually, another property,
kind of cleaner.
Okay, another property of wall jumping is that you can't wall jump unless you're spin jumping. So I can't do it off of a wall like that. I have to specifically be spin jumping. And you spin jump by jumping whilst you're already walking in a direction. Now oh! Now speedrunners can get up this bit just by doing that. Oh my god! Oh my god! That's probably the most skillful thing you're gonna see, folks. But you should play Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight is good.
I should. It looks really fun.
It's so good, in fact, that I think you should dedicate your life to it. You know,
I need to get back to playing Ori as well, though.
What, the first one?
Yeah, I never finished Ori in the Blind Forest because of one specific area where it was just... It was one of those areas where it was the needles everywhere.
But those are the most fun areas. Yeah, well, actually, I'm not surprised you didn't even beat Cuphead.
Okay, Mr. World Record.
World record for a few hours. On a single level run that only 5 people had posted on.
I still love that the person saw that and was like, I have to get this back.
Oh yeah, man's got to reclaim his throne. Now this boss is actually fairly easy. It's more a gimmick than anything else, because the whole point is that it's like, ah, look, the statue came to life, isn't that kooky? And there we go, it's done. Most bosses in this game are pretty easy. I find Metroid in general to be a pretty easy game. It feels like a lot of the bosses are designed to be tanked and like brute forced. I know that's not always the way it's supposed to be done, but when I was playing Metroid 2, like the remake, if you had another Metroid 2 remake, if you had super missiles, those things would go down in seconds. But yes, play Hollow Knight, it's good. Everyone should play Hollow Knight. Everyone should get 10 copies of it, support them. Hollow Knight's got a sequel coming out. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
And it's going to be a great sequel. Why? Because it's made by the Hollow Knight people. Anyway, what's your topics? Because I'm just going to be talking about Metroidvanias all day.
Well, there was that show that we watched on Monday. That was,
yes.
The guy who didn't like musicals.
And who performed this show, pray tell?
That was Team StarKid.
Team StarKid? Never heard of them.
They have performed other shows, such as A Harry Potter Musical. May have heard of that. Twisted is my personal favourite, the untold story of a royal vizier.
If you're wondering why I didn't go through that one, I miss all this because I know where that leads to. Oh, wait. Yeah, sorry, go on.
And I believe their most recent performance was Black Friday, which is one I still need to watch.
It's Friday, gotta get down on Black Friday. What's Black Friday about? Do you know the basic plot?
Well, I think the title is fairly self-explanatory. I don't
Well-
know much about it other than
On a scale of 1 to
it's
musical,
kind of
how would you
a-
rate these lads?
of 1 to musical.
I don't know, like, would you say these guys are pretty good at what they do?
Yeah,
How would
they
you
are.
rank? How would you rank them above other musicals?
It's. I mean, as a theater company, I would say they're kind of on. They're on the level of. By the sounds of it, It seems to be technically amateur theater, but like good reputation amateur theater. You know, like,
There is a guy in the
you know, it's
production that
like,
looks like Jim Carrey, and it threw me off every time I
Yeah.
saw him.
it's like the actors aren't. It's like that sort of thing where it feels like the actors are there because they want it to be part of it, as opposed to because they're getting paid. But
They
the
ain't paid
ba-
me enough for this.
but the behind the scenes of it seems to be handled very professionally. It's that sort of feeling that I get from it.
Oh wait, hold on. I can
Although
get a, I can
I'm
get a
sure
upgrade
the
around here.
actors do get paid for their work because it's often the same cast of people, and
I ain't
they have
paying you to
all
do
their
stand-up,
shows,
Mr. Squidward.
posted onto their own YouTube channel. So surely from the revenue they'd be able to pay people for that.
From the looks of it, they kickstart their productions, I'm pretty sure.
Probably, but there'd also be things like ticket sales and
Well, I mean, yeah, obviously, but like...
ticket sales. I imagine they'd probably
Oh,
have
look at that,
some
they anticipated I'd do that. See, this is what,
They
okay, I'm gonna, this is my point right here. This is what makes these games so beautiful. You see that? I can't access that yet. I need to get something else, come back later, and then I can go to a brand new area, and it feels amazing. I think a lot of people
so
don't
you
like
gotta
these...
just put a pin in that.
Well, a lot of people tend not to like these kinds of games because they don't like the backtracking. But I think if it's a good enough game, it tends to get away with it. Because, well, like Dark Souls, for example, for the majority of the first one, you have to backtrack through areas you've already been to. But I think the areas are so well designed and so fun to go through that the backtracking itself isn't all that bad. Plus, you can get through these areas quite swiftly.
So like it can be either it's part of the charm or it's there for padding. It's just a case of
Well, I wouldn't even say it's there for
Then-
padding, because, you know, going through an area
No,
on its own should be fun.
I'm not saying that it is there for padding in this, but depending on the game, it can certainly feel like that.
I guess so. Right, let's see. Yeah, we can go through here. I like these
Don't
games
trust
because...
any walls.
Oh, save point. Well,
Hey,
there's a lot of... oops. What am I doing wrong? I guess I'll have to re-enter. Honestly, I'm just a really big fan of action-adventure games. I like exploring for secrets, and I think that's why Hollow Knight does it. Oh, I did it again! And that's why I think Hollow Knight does it best, because Hollow Knight has a ridiculous amount of secrets, and it has a ridiculous amount of sequence breaking. Like, I didn't think it was possible, but I just played through the game casually, and I was playing it alongside a friend, and I got to an area, and he got to the same area, but he got to it a different way than I did. So when he got there, I was just like, wait, hold on, how did you get there? And he was like, I just went through here. I was just like, wait, but that's not the way I came in. And that's what makes those games so great, because everybody has their own experiences, and they're very good for the sort of, ooh, did you get here? Ooh, no, how did you get that? Although I do think Hollow Knight, to a degree, is slightly brutal in that regard, because there are some things that for the life of me, I could not figure out. Although, once you do figure them out, they do seem intuitive enough. Because one of them was a door that only opens when you have a certain amount of blue health. And blue health is basically temporary health. And in order to have the amount of blue health that they want you to, you need to have like certain medallions equipped. You need to have gone to very specific spots. It's pretty... where am I supposed to be going? It's pretty ridiculous.
Where are you going?
I don't know. I think the plant boss is just up there, and I don't want to go to the plant boss. I want to try my hand at sequence breaking. Oh, why not? Let's try it anyway. I want to try my... What was I saying? Yeah, the amount of stuff that you need to get... Oh, well, there we go, I'm dead. To get the blue health is quite ridiculous, and you need to make an enormous trek to get there. And so you're not allowed to get hit, which makes it even more brutal. And it's just a great feeling when you finally do it and you unlock an entirely new area, and you can get lots of abilities that aren't actually required to beat the game, and I think that's what makes it special as well. I think another thing that makes a lot of Metroidvanias quite unique is their characters. Because, you know, you can play like 3 Metroid games in a row, and after a while you just kind of go, yeah, this is pretty samey, but then you play like Guacamelee or Castlevania, and it suddenly feels like a fresh new experience. And I think that's either down to the locations being very similar, a combination of the locations being very similar, but also the character having the exact same moveset throughout all the games. Oh, yeah, see, it's a boss. And I'm pretty bad at this boss. And I don't know why I'm pretty bad at this boss, because... Oh, this is gonna go terrible. But yeah, every character just feels different. Like, you tend to get like the same basic things, like something that makes you move fast, something that makes you hit but more. But each game does it in such a unique way that it just feels more different and satisfying. Plus, I don't think Metroid's combat is very good, if I'm being honest. I've never enjoyed the combat all that much. You agreeing with me? Do you disagree?
It does seem kind of samey for... at least for the moment.
Well, I mean, fundamentally, like, all of these games are pretty samey when it comes to that sort of stuff, because, what is it, like, you could just say Guacamelee, oh, it's just punching, or Hollow Knight, oh, it's like slashing with your sword. And it's like, yeah, that's true, but it feels like you have more autonomy over what you do, and there's a lot more versatility. In Metroid, the movement is a lot clunkier and slower, and really, all you do is just press the shoot button. It really doesn't matter where you do it from. Whereas in Hollow Knight, there's a lot of tactical thinking that goes into it. You can parry, you can bounce off of enemies, you can do all sorts. The way the character reacts with the environment and enemies based off of their moves is like just amazing in Hollow Knight, because the stuff you can do when you get certain moves is great. Metroid, it just feels like the game's busted when you unlock certain moves, because when I got that infinite jump, I was like, are you for real? That's made like 10 of my upgrades completely redundant. Because there's in one of the Metroid games, there's an upgrade that makes it so that you can climb walls in your Morph Ball. There's one that lets you jump higher, there's one that lets you jump super duper like forever, and then there's one that makes it damaging. And even though it feels good to get those continuous upgrades, when you think about it, really it's just getting an upgrade to make the last one redundant as opposed to adding on to your moveset. If you get what I'm saying?
I think so, yeah.
Whereas that doesn't really happen on Hollow Knight. Although I do appreciate that this game has a lot of optional stuff, because you know that charge beam that I upgrade that I found, completely optional.
Hey.
Oh wait, I need missiles. And actually, saying that, the there are other items that are completely optional, because that, you know, that infinite jump I told you about that like that does damage whilst you're jumping.
Yeah.
That's actually an optional upgrade. I can't remember if it applies to this game, but there are impossible places you can go to with it. Because there are blocks that specifically get damaged only by it. Oh, I'm gonna die. Oh, well, shouldn't have done that. Oh, there we go.
Goodbye.
Tell me more about musicals. Actually, no, that wasn't very adventure gamey of me. Tell me more about musicals.
Well, we were talking about Star Kid before. What was it specifically we were
Who
going
are
on
these
about?
kids and why are they stars?
Because they have star power.
Alright, what's your point?
Also
Well-
because, well, something I do like particularly with their shows specifically, as opposed to, the Portal 2 musical, as much as I like it, it is using pre-written songs and just changing the lyrics.
Oh, they did.
Whereas
They did
Star
a Portal 2
Kid-
musical.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Oh, it's Portal 2, the unauthorized musical. But,
Valve there
with
with the
Star
copyright
Kid, though,
notice.
they write all their own music. And I think you had noted that with the guy who didn't like musicals, it was basically The Thing, but they changed
Well,
essentially the
it was a
affliction.
mix. It was a mix of things. It was one part zombie apocalypse for one part The Thing.
I do like that with some of their shows, you can tell very clearly that it's based off a specific thing, like how Twisted is. It's very much parodying Disney, but it also takes its premise largely from.
I mean,
From
in a very
Wicked,
technical
and
sense, you
they
could say a
did-
lot
they
of things are
make no-
parodying Disney.
But they make no
Ah,
attempt
yes.
to hide the fact that they've got heavy inspiration from Wicked. Like, they make it a point at the very start of the
I was
musical
thinking when
that
you said
Jafar-
Twisted that it might have been inspired by Wicked, because it's
Yeah.
like those are very similar words
Yeah,
that both
Twisted,
end in ed.
Like, they make it a point in the opening number for Twisted as well that Jafar absolutely loves the book Wicked.
I didn't know they had that back then. Isn't that going to ruin my immersion?
I mean, I don't think you really go into it for the immersion.
Oh, you clearly don't know me. You know what? That's what I don't understand about musicals. You want to know what really gripes my spuds?
Okay.
When somebody says something, and then everybody bursts out into song and dance, and they all know the lyrics. And you know what? When you think about it logically, even if we accept that they're all bursting out into song and dance, where's the music coming from? I don't see anyone. I don't see a full orchestra around. Do you?
It may not sound scary, but when you think about the implications. That's the thing I enjoy with the guy who didn't like musicals, that just based on its premise, when you think about the implications, every song is a villain song.
God, this boss sucks. Look at it. You just wait. And now it's done, finally. I tell you what, you know what game I
That is the thing though with musicals is you kind of have to be willing to suspend your disbelief.
Well, I mean, yeah, obviously I'm joking. Although you probably don't see it as joking. You probably take it very seriously. I'm probably getting crucified as we speak. Yeah, look at that!
I don't know, I'm gonna blame it on my ADD and let's move on.
A dumb doofus. That's what ADD means.
Exactly. A couple of their other shows I've watched, so there was Firebringer. I don't think I particularly enjoyed that one, but I've seen people that absolutely love it, and going back to some of the clips, I feel like I should give it another watch. And Trail to Oregon, which... Oregon Trail.
Or oh, you stole my thunder.
And yes, there is a whole thing about dying of dysentery.
Man, I didn't realize Oregon Trail was such a huge thing until like a few months ago when suddenly everyone was talking about it, and I was like, hold on a minute, I thought only I knew of this super... It turns out it wasn't as obscure as I thought it was.
I just remember there being a meme of it about freelance artist died of exposure. Yeah, it was something that I had seen screenshots of, but I didn't know that it was actually called Oregon Trail.
Oregon Trail? That's disgusting.
Exactly. But,
Oregon Trail looks fun, we should play it.
I think just about all of Star Kid's shows are based off of something or other, but just some of them are more blatant
Something
about
or other,
it.
I haven't heard of that one.
Funny. But yeah, Black Friday is the next one that I intend to watch. I think it would be fun if the next time we can get into a call with Matt if we all watched one. Not like one that none of us have seen, because there are definitely plenty that I've still to have a look at.
Are we just discussing personal matters now?
What?
Are we just discussing personal matters when we should be entertaining?
I mean,
I'm just messing with you. I'm just messing with you. Don't scrutinize me.
If you didn't want me to talk about StarKid, why did you bring it up?
I don't know.
Oh, wait,
I kind of thought this would. I kind of thought this discussion would have been over about 5 minutes ago.
But you carried it on.
Leave me alone.
Listen. You encouraged me to continue talking about StarKid. I'm gonna talk about StarKid. But with that, I am done though.
Piece of...
Did you just call me autistic?
No.
What did you call me then?
I didn't call you nothing.
I heard you muttering.
I didn't mutter nothing. You can play this back when we're done. I didn't mutter nothing.
Good. I will.
Bitch. What were we talking about again?
How dare you? My family's autistic.
Oh, your mum's autistic. Oh, what the hell? Get off of me! There we go. Oh, I can't go there yet. Oh wait, hold on a minute.
I mean, my brother actually is autistic, so...
And that's why we don't speak of him. I should probably clarify for those who think we're being ableist that this is all a joke.
Don't worry, it's just because he's my brother.
Yeah, oh, okay.
Also because he lacks the foit.
The foit. Did we explain that one?
No, and we're not going to explain it.
Okay. The foit. Right, cool. I got no idea where I'm going at this point. Up here.
Exploration time!
Exactly. That's the fun of these games. Exploration.